Russell Hill and Carol Clay's reading. I've never done a reading. I've just done some spirit sessions the other day, but I'd like to tune in a bit more over the next week and, yeah, try and connect with them a bit more. We're going to find out what happened to Carol Clay. As we know, she did die from a bullet wound to her head. Rest in peace, darlings. Oh my God, this case gets me emotional. To think that there's an elderly couple going out camping and then they get murdered is just absolutely horrific. Who would have thought it? Crime of passion and rage. So I do believe that what happened was that there were words between Russell and Greg Lynn. Greg Lynn has been convicted of Carol's murder, but not Russell's. And if you've been following the case, you would know that their remains were found. He did lead police eventually to their burnt and scattered remains. Russell Hill's cause of death could not be determined. He states that they fought over a gun that, his gun, Greg's gun, that Russell had gone to his Nissan Patrol and taken. They fought over it. A bullet was fired and hit the mirror, then into Carol's head, and then Russell's come at Greg, allegedly, with a knife after screaming she's dead or something, which is just absurd to think that, he just wipes his hands clean of two bloody deaths at this campsite, yet he goes to the extreme measures of destroying evidence and, making them disappear, basically, and burning the campsite, all those things that he was doing, removing things and taking their bodies far away. And then months later, goes back to their remains to burn the rest of their remains to really cover everything up. So I do believe he's got a temper, and I believe he lost his temper. It is said that Russell had a relative years ago who had accidentally died at the hands of a deer hunter. Now, Greg Lynn was hunting right near the camp. He had a rifle, and I'm not sure what kind of gun it was, but yeah, it was a gun, a rifle, and I do believe, that what's happened is Russell has most likely gone and talked to him about the dangers of hunting close to their camp. Even though I think Greg was there first, two males as well, camping, males can be very territorial as well. And it just kind of makes me think of like both two men puffing up their chests at each other as to who's got the right of way, who's got the right, who's in the right kind of thing. And so I think that he may have wanted Greg to move. He might have thought, well, you can camp there, just don't hunt there. And they've had words, obviously. And I think what's happened is there's a tit for tat going on. At one point, Greg states in his statement, and I do believe that there's truths in the lies, as we say. When he said that he, turned up his volume really loud for his music and was annoying Russell and Carol, I believe that he was doing that to provoke something and to annoy them late at night with that. So, yeah. And so what I think too with the drone, I do believe that Russell's drone was, he did have a drone. It's nothing has been found of that drone as far as I'm aware. The police have never found it. I'm pretty sure that Greg destroyed it, probably burned it or took it somewhere and destroyed it. And why? Why? Because there's camera footage, on drones. And I'm thinking, if Russell's flying over his campsite, it's of my opinion that Russell did that maybe to provoke Lynn, maybe to annoy Lynn. It's almost like the drone is like this mosquito flying overhead and annoying you, right? So it's kind of like that idea I get that Russell may have had a bit of that in him where he thought, well, you're not listening to me, so I'll make you move and I'll just annoy you. And it could have been an intimidation thing as well. Like, well, if you're not going to respect our wishes, hunting close to camp, or maybe he was paranoid. Maybe he wanted to monitor and make sure, because I'm pretty sure he used to work in those bushlands years ago as well. He's had a history there. I think he helped build the tracks there or something. So it could be in some way that he felt obligated to supervise, to monitor or surveil what Greg was doing to make sure that he was doing, the right thing within the campsite and people's safety, things like that too. But I do kind of get the idea that there was a bit of this, I'll show you and I'll fly my drone over you and annoy you, and possibly hoping that Greg would pack up and leave and go somewhere else. And I think that's what the main thing that maybe would have been. It was a last straw, okay? So basically what's happened is it's a last straw, that drone going over, and I think he's snapped. I think that this is the crime of passion and rage we're seeing here, is that Greg has snapped, and he's gone over there, okay? So at what order it's in, I don't know. Obviously, he said he was playing music very loud at night at around 10, I think it was, when they were trying to sleep in their tent. So at what point did he go over there? But I'll have to tell you something. I had a vision, and I also have been putting things together with the spirit sessions as well, but it was more my vision that the drone is the key component here. And also the fact that Russell has had words over losing a relative to a deer hunter years ago. I believe those two things were the tensions here. I do believe that somehow, whether Greg's stormed over to the campsite and taken the drone, or he's shot it down, okay, that could be something as well, that he shot it down. I could see him doing that. And it wouldn't surprise me if he confiscated Russell's drone and put it in his Nissan Patrol. And that's where the half-truth comes in. I don't believe that Russell stormed over to his campsite and's gone and taken his gun from his car and then gone back to his own campsite and, shot a warning, all those things that he's stating. I don't believe it. I believe that he had camera footage. Okay, at one point, Greg says that Russell actually said to him, I've got evidence on my drone or something. Now, if he said that, which he could have, okay, I could see it happening. In hindsight, you'd think, oh my God, why did you say that? You're dealing with a psycho. If only he didn't say that and provoke the bear, so to speak. I think he might have. I think he might have said, look, I've got evidence on this. And then... yeah, some fight over the drone, but it could be that Lynn has confiscated it. And when he says that Russell had gone to, steal his gun out of his Nissan Patrol, I think if Russell did enter the Nissan Patrol, it's in my opinion that he's there trying to gain access to his drone. He wants his drone back. So I think that there was that going on. I don't believe he went over and took a gun. I think what's happened is he's gone, if he was to have gone over and taken anything from the Nissan Patrol, it would have been to retrieve his drone. That's what I think, because it's in Russell's, his possession. Now, we don't know for sure if it was in his possession after the murders, after the fact, that he's then gone and done something with it. But I do believe it was in his possession before they died. And I think that's what this whole thing's about, is the drone. Because Greg Lynn even says in his police interview that he was worried about losing his club licenses and his Jetstar pilot license and, all sorts of things. He was afraid of losing things and yeah, it's just crazy to think. But anyway, that's on his mind. That was a self-preservation. That's something he's scared of losing. And his reputation and all sorts of things. So it makes sense to me that if he thinks there's evidence that could be used against him that's going to, impact his life, his career, his family, his licenses, that could definitely cause someone to become enraged, like someone's got something over you. And I'm not saying that's fact that Russell did have that over him, but I kind of get that idea that in some ways you've got two males, okay, two alpha males fighting each other, and there's this tension over this campsite and campgrounds and who can do what, and he really was not happy that Greg was there hunting so close to the camp, and he obviously, wanted him to move or wanted him to stop hunting. So there's been this digging heels in, and it looks like Greg said, no, I'm here, I was here first. I can do what I want kind of thing. And that's when I feel Russell got the drone out, okay, to surveil, but to also maybe annoy Greg, so that Greg would be like, oh, I'm sick of this shit, I'm going to just pack up and leave, you know. But that obviously didn't happen with this type of guy. That's my opinion on that, because even other campers, I think, said a few times the drone was circling around quite a few times, and he may have even, I feel like that Greg's come over to talk to him maybe the first time about the drone, and he's probably just thought, well, you know, whatever, and he's gone and done it again, because I think I remember an article saying something about there were words over a drone, but he continued. So it makes sense to me that he might have also dug his heels in, Russell did, and thought, well, I can fly my drone. If you can hunt, I can fly my drone, see? That's what I'm thinking this is. An accident. So this is very interesting, because he's coming across, this is what, two very different things here. And I mean, if you look at it, a crime of passion and rage, sometimes people don't necessarily mean to actually, they don't intend to kill somebody. It's just out of anger, they snap, right? It's a rage. They just snap. And is it true? Is it partially true that what happened to Russell was in a fit of rage? He's gone to hurt him. He's gone to shoot at him, maybe not intentionally meant to kill him. That could be something there. Okay, that could be true, what he's saying about those things there. Oops, what's this? So, yeah, as I say too, a lot of these things could come out as irrelevant. So let's just pay attention to more the storyline here. But let's get an idea, please. What happened to... Oh. Stranger. Well, we know he did not know them. He was a stranger to them. And held captive, hiding. So he did hide something away. It might not have been a person, but he held something. He locked it away. And I still wonder, because Spirit did say, and it will come up in a Spirit session when I do it, that there's a box. He's actually got a box somewhere. It could be at his house, I don't know. But there's a box that's got something in it. Could be a trophy, right? Some people do keep trophies. If there's something missing, I think their phones were missing. There's something he's got, I feel. A bullet, I don't know, there's something he's got. Maybe it's the mirror. Oh, and I think he said he burnt the mirror. I don't know, but there's something there that's locked away. But it also shows me that on the night, I think he's taken something and taken, yeah, what am I saying? Locked it away. So what happened to Russell, please, Spirit? What happened to Russell Hill? All right, let's get this started again, because half these don't make sense to me. All right, let's have a look. What happened to Russell Hill, please? So we do have spring coming up again. It was in March, so it was more autumn, I think, but dark night, wandering alone, secluded. So it happened at night, it's telling me. And yeah, there was no one really else around, which is scary. You know, this whole thing unfolded when no one else was really around, unknown to the police. So I don't know if he was actually in the police record. I mean, he's a Jetstar pilot. I mean, I'm sure in the past there might have been maybe minor things. His first wife died. It was ruled as a suicide. She was found in a fetal position in their front yard, and I think they were undergoing an ugly divorce or separation or something at that time, and she died from an alcohol and pill poisoning. Apparently, I think it was her sister or someone had gone in the news and said she never drank alcohol, and her mother believes that she was basically killed from him, like that he's responsible for her mental health deteriorating. He was a really horrible person. Apparently he killed a neighbor's dog. I'm not going to go into it anymore. It really upsets me. And other animals he's killed. And yeah, he used to be, she said, warped in the head. All those things though. Clean record. I don't know if he had a criminal record, would he be able to be a pilot? You know what I mean? So it looks to me that that's why, yeah, he might have, yeah. There's the plane, local, global travel overseas. So that's what it's showing here too, is that, just interesting, the plane's coming up and he's a pilot. But yeah, it was definitely local, global, local travel. They were local, medium length hair. I don't know what that is. and a female suspect accomplice. So you could look at it and say, okay, I don't know who this is. This may be totally irrelevant. Did his wife have any knowledge of this, or another female? I don't know. It's just interesting that, the police were surveilling and monitoring their home and recording with secret devices their home. And when the 60 Minutes program came on that showed his Nissan Patrol in the trailer that was leaving the bush, she actually laughed and cackled and said, "Oh my God, that looks like your car and your trailer or something." I don't know if she so much wasn't like a suspect or accomplice, but I do wonder if she might have had some inkling as to, I mean, come on. I think it was like days after the 60 Minutes program aired that showed his Nissan Patrol that he started repainting it and taking off the awning and selling his trailer and all that stuff. So you'd have to be thinking, hang on a minute, what are you doing? But some people can be in denial. I'm not blaming her. Interesting. Anyway, tattoos. I don't know what this is. As I said, there could be irrelevant things coming up in here. But please give us an idea as to how August, don't know what that is. Okay, how did Russell die, please? How did Russell die? How did Russell die? Because we don't know. We don't know how Russell actually died. There could be something hidden underneath. Well, he did actually put them underneath a tree log. Oh, my God. I remember that now. December... Planned. Okay, so parts of this, there was a lot of planning involved, obviously. Death, yeah. Well, it says planned death. Wow. Oh, God. So I do believe very much there was a crime of passion. I don't believe he just suddenly thought, I'm going to kill these people. I mean, he might have at one stage. He might have just tipped and, just snapped and thought, I'm going to kill him. But it shows me the planning around, post-death in terms of destroying evidence and concocting a story and tampering with their bodies and things like that. And I do believe one of their deaths was absolutely planned. And I believe that was Carol's clean-framed, innocent, clear conscience, set-up scapegoat. So that's the kind of, yeah, he's trying to make out he's all innocent, right? So how did Russell die, please? Travel. Yeah, he took him in the car. Family, overdose. No, I don't get that. Maybe he did strangle him at one stage on the ground. He could have had his gun against his throat, on the ground with his gun holding to his throat. I wouldn't be surprised. Arrest court. Because I do believe there was a fight. Forest Path Mossy, that's where they were found in that it was very foggy in there too when the police found them. Suffocation. So I feel like burned down. Wow, look at that. Fire, arson. We do know that he burned the evidence. Car accident. Don't know what that's about. Stalking, waiting, watching. So he could have also been, during that time when there were those tensions, yeah, hunting them down almost. Like looking through the bush and just keeping an eye. Like, it's creeping me out, really. I don't know how far and how many meters away they were, or if they were in, eye shot of each other through the trees or what. But I feel like he obviously came to their campsite at one stage, and it may not have been that he just stormed over there and was just, all guns blazing. Well, God, no pun intended, but you know what I mean. Like, it's not like he's all coming in really loud and yelling at them or anything. I think he was probably trying to surprise attack them, maybe, because they were in their tent too. So I'm just trying to see. There we are. Gunshot shooting. There it is. Yep, and that could be how Russell died. Now, what I want to do, I do want to see the card gunshot shooting come out. How did Russell die, please? There's the court stuff. Oh, my God. So he's such a liar. He said that Russell came at him with a knife and that he stabbed himself by falling down on it as they struggled with it or some crap. And it's just so interesting that, because if he was to say, oh, he accidentally got shot and then she accidentally got shot, I mean, how stupid does that sound? Like, you accidentally shot two people? Like, hello. You could understand one person maybe, but accidentally shooting two people? I don't think so. So it's interesting it said planned death. I'm wondering, yeah, if he's just gotten really pissed off and then just and he said something about that Russell had his gun and shot a warning shot. Makes me wonder if, it's reversed the truth. Did he shoot something but not like a warning? I don't think it was a warning. I think it was a threat. I think like one gunshot, is like a warning shot is saying, I'm coming for you, if he did do that. But that's confirming that Russell was shot. God. So that knife talk about knives, allegedly, all right, it seems very like a fantasy in his head. It's like something is just concocted because it sounds like it'll fit the accident theory, okay? And it's so interesting, isn't it, that he explains that, oh, well, Russell did this. It's his fault he took my gun. I struggled, like a hero, and the gun's gone off and it's ricocheted off the mirror and hit Carol and she's dead. And then Russell's angry at me, coming at me with a knife, but then we struggle because I'm trying to save my life, and yet he falls on it. Like, come on. Ridiculous, isn't it? Look at that. Again, the tree log. Now, I'm not saying he didn't have a knife on him. We don't know. Maybe he wounded him in many ways. He could have shot him and then stabbed him. We don't know. We really don't know. But that's interesting. We do know, definitely, there was a gun. There's definitely a gun. Country wilderness. Look at that. Out in the Wanangata Valley. That's where it's happened. And, yeah, well, the uniform impersonation, corruption, false. You could say, okay, well, he's a man in uniform, a Jetstar pilot. He's a corrupt bloody person in society who's supposed to be looking out for people. But then people could also say, well, the way this investigation was handled was really not done right. I mean, there was secret recordings. They didn't tell him he was a suspect, things like that. But I'm going to now ask well, we know how Carol was shot. It was more Russell I'm looking for. We know how Carol was killed, really. I think we do anyway, with the bullet in her head. Excuse me. But I do believe that if Greg had said something about having a scuffle or a struggle and then grabbing his wrist and breaking it, I wouldn't be surprised if he did do that. Maybe Russell was trying to fight the gun off him to stop him from shooting Carol or from shooting himself, right? Maybe that's what he did at one point. If he got close enough, he probably did try to stop him. Yep, solved with evidence. So with the evidence we have, February, I'm not sure if there's something coming up this February or the whatever, but yeah, so it looks like to me there has been a physical fight here as well. Bruising. I don't know if he said he had bruises. I can't remember now. Oh, God, yeah, look at that. He buried them. He did bury their remains. Yeah, look at this. Oh, my God. He buried them right under the logs, like in the bushland, under a tree log, under the tree roots kind of thing. I don't know what the beach is. It's once again irrelevant, I think. Yeah, now I'm going to ask, has he killed before? Because I believe he has, actually. Allegedly, okay. I have to always say that. It drives me nuts. But anyway, legally, it's what we have to say. But yeah, I do believe that he was responsible for his first wife's murder. He may not have been there and staging it specifically as a suicide. We don't know. But I do believe that he was an abusive partner or person, going by even, I think, just recently on the news. His former or some former Jetstar colleagues had come forward saying they didn't like working with him. He was unpleasant to work with or something. So that tells you a lot as well, doesn't it? He's not a very nice person. And the fact that he killed the neighbour's dog because it was barking, I mean, this man is just cruel and calculated and evil, in my opinion. And so softly spoken too, like you hear him. I don't know about that. He seems to be someone who's quite cocky and arrogant, so I can't imagine he would do that. But then again, sometimes they do, don't they? But we are talking about the wife as well, the ex-wife, the first wife who, as they're saying, unalived herself, right? And I don't know what this is. This is coming up as a female accomplice. I don't know. All right, let me get this idea. I'm going to get some other cards right now. What happened to Lisa Lynn, please? What happened to Lisa Lynn, please, Spirit? Can you give us an idea? Oh, the poor darling. She was trapped in this marriage. she saw no way out, so maybe she did do that, you know. I'm not saying that she didn't. I mean, she may have thought the only way out was through that way, okay? If you're in an abusive relationship, apparently he was bragging that he had inherited her home or something. I can't remember now, but ugh, it's disgusting, really. King of Cups, yeah, there's the partner. Look at the drink. And we've got the Five of Pentacles, the Two of Cups. So she really felt, I think her self-esteem really lacked. She feared for her life with this man as well. He really came across to everyone else as this really nice, you know, it's like he's a chameleon. He knows how to put on an act for people, allegedly, all right? 10 of Wands, yeah, she had the burden. She had burdens and huge responsibilities, and they said he threatened her. I don't know what he threatened her with. Maybe her life, maybe taking the children. You know, no one will believe you, you know, and putting it down and stuff. Like, that's the kind of energy I get with it. I'm going to take you for everything. She just felt she had no way out, the poor girl. Poor woman. Like, she's just, yeah, the Chariot right there as well. There's the boy. I think they've got 2 children together. I can't remember. But Geordie, as we see on the news, was that young boy, okay, the young man, I should say, who was Lisa's son and Greg's son. And he was at the courts, I think, supporting his father. So I don't know what he has seen or witnessed with his father over time. It seems that Greg Lynn's wife, Melanie, maybe they just had a very different relationship. They were very, you know, independent, going off and doing their own thing, and didn't apparently argue very often. The neighbors said they couldn't hear anything anyway. So we don't really know the dynamics. But I worry about that young man. I do. I think that he's going to have a lot of mixed emotions. It's his father after all. If he hasn't witnessed what everyone else is saying they've witnessed, the colleagues, I mean, I'm sure he would have witnessed some, you know, anger or temper or rage within his father at times. But, you know, sometimes these killers, if they're a serial killer or whatever, you see this in the past too, where a lot of the children and the wives have no idea. They have no idea because this person is so different in the family dynamic, in the family home. They are like a chameleon. They put on the face. They know how to act. It's almost like a sociopath, really. They know how to be, you know, but then again, in his workplace, it came undone by the sounds of it. But I do feel for this young man because now they're investigating his mother's death. So he's going to be questioning the father's character and everything. So I can imagine there's a lot of secrets, and I'm sure the boy has got been a witness to many things as well. Yeah, the 10 of Pentacles, a family home, the family legacy, things like that. So he's going to need a lot of support, you know. I read one comment where someone was saying, oh, he should apologize on behalf of his father. And I'm thinking, oh, for God's sake, he's only young, you know. He's like, I don't know how old he is, maybe 18, 19, 20, I don't know. He's just very young. And it's not his responsibility what his father did. So, you know, I just think that there's going to be, maybe in future he'll do an interview. You never know. You never know. But Lisa Lynn's death is being reinvestigated, I'm pretty sure. And I feel like more people are going to come forward as well regarding Greg Lynn. Now, I'm not joking, what am I saying? He had repainted this vehicle twice between 2016 and 2020. That's only 4 years, okay? In 4 years, he repainted his Nissan Patrol. It was the very first color was white. In 2016, it was white. And by 2019, it was blue. And then when he's killed Russell and Carol, he's gone and changed it in 2020 to beige. What does that tell you? Why would he repaint it the first time? You know what I mean? Like, it's a bit dodgy considering we know what this guy's like. So, betrayal. Oh my God, why does this keep coming up? It's so weird. Does somebody have information from his past? I don't know. It's weird. Has he confided in anyone? I don't know. It's weird that keeps coming up. Uniform, impersonation, corruption, false. River Creek. Yeah, anyway, I probably need to stop it now. I don't know if I'm going to be told anything else, really. Lisa, oh my God. She did overdose. Holy crap. And look at the male child victim. Oh, shivers. Hang on. This fell on the ground. Just says train tracks. I've got no idea what that is. But look at that. So she did obviously overdose. But was this something she did herself, you know? Or did he play a part in this? Train track. I've got no idea what that is. But anyway, that's just what I'm getting on this today, guys, really. Natural causes. So in other words, we know it wasn't definite, you know, not really natural causes, but that could point more, I should say, to her doing this herself. Even though I feel like her mental health was really fragmented from this guy. I think she just needed out. She needed out. Yeah, burn down, fire, arson. Look at that. So I think he's done this before. You know, we look at Russell and Carol Hill. I want to look at more missing persons around the valleys, okay? I'm telling you now, I swear he's killed someone else in the past. He just knew what to do too. He made a few mistakes, but he was calculated, man. Seriously. Like, he knew not to use his credit cards and stuff to buy petrol. He knew not to use them. He stole money from Carol or Russell's wallet to pay cash so there would be no digital trail, okay? He's onto it. And yeah, he seems to know what to do. So the fact that he went back and burned their bodies and dispersed, you know, scattered their remains, he definitely did not want to be caught. He even admitted it in his police interview. He was trying to cover up the evidence, get rid of the evidence. He said his exact words, get rid of the evidence. Disgusting person, I tell you. So rest in peace, Carol and Russell. I'm going to work on more of the spirit session and, yeah, see what else will come through. But I really do believe that this was words between Russell and Greg, and the male, you know, ego got involved, unfortunately, and they were annoying each other. And, you know, I feel like in one hand that Russell being older as well and having a real connection with that land, you know, having worked on the land, having a relative die from deer hunting, he would have felt a sense of responsibility for Carol's life as well and his own safety and others around camping. And he probably did come across as gruff and to the point, and he might have threatened Greg. We don't know. But the fact that he's mentioned, if he did mention it, sounds like he does or would have, has mentioned about the drone footage and having evidence against Greg was probably not the smartest move. I think he just wanted to intimidate him, perhaps get him to pack up and leave, or just to agree to not hunt, and it didn't turn out that way, as we now know. So, yeah, I'm really so happy that the jury found him guilty of Carol's murder. At least he's not walking free. But yeah, it's a sad case too that they didn't find him guilty of murdering Russell Hill. But then again, you have to look at the, you know, the actual evidence before you, and there was no evidence or cause of death. So, you know, it could have been that it, you know, was an accident, that, you know, he might have shot at Russell intending to injure him. He may not have intended to murder him. In that fit of rage, okay? He may not have thought, I'm going to kill you dead right now, you know. I do believe, though, that he intended absolutely to kill Carol because she was the witness. That's what I've always thought. Oh, my God, yeah. I think it said it there somewhere before, eyewitness statement. So an eyewitness, that she was an eyewitness to the murder or the death of Russell. And it would have been horrifying for that poor lady, for both of them. She was basically hunted down, you know, and I believe when he says that she was crouching down behind the car and like Russell's truck there, I believe that. Yeah, I think she tried to get in the truck. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to do a spirit session on this. What do you guys reckon about the motive and about this whole case in general? Do you think that Russell's murder was absolutely planned? Or do you think that it got out of hand and then he's panicked and he thought, shit, there's a witness, now I've got to kill her? What do you reckon, guys? I will get the spirit session up shortly. Love and blessings.